तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। हरि Om, Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Yes, can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? Anything? Yes, please.
Chapter 14, Krishna says that he will once again explain this about the supreme knowledge for which all the munis live with the highest perfection and
Ji,
thereby attain mukti. So, this material energy or substance, Prakriti, is the womb, and the supreme being is the seed with which all the living beings are born.
ji,
This material energy contains three gunas, that is sattva, rajas, and tamas, and they bind the soul and the physical body. So
yeah,
sattva is the nature of goodness. It binds the soul by sort of creating an attachment for knowledge and sense of happiness, basically material happiness.
ji.
And
Not
rajas,
only material, not only material happiness, generally, any happiness.
okay,
Sometimes there is one, what we can say, like they say, Shreyas and Preyas. No? Even on the spiritual path, also, we sometimes have preferences, and then there the attachment comes in between. Yes, ji.
okay. And rajas is the nature of passion, and it arises from worldly desires and binds the soul through attachment for perfection and fruitive actions.
Perfection, I do not know.
Okay. Maybe
Perfection,
like if you have that impulse to perfect.
no, that is there
our-
in the sadhak actually. Yoga karma so kaushalam, no? Excellence in works is spirituality. A sadhak must aspire for that. But
No,
yes,
not
control.
spiritually, but even material in the physical world. Maybe you
Uh,
have some task you have that, like you said, OCD.
so probably when
Yes, yeah.
attachment where individual force is higher than anything else.
Yeah, I thought it
You-
was like that. Like
No,
somebody need.
no, an artist aspiring for perfection,
Okay.
there the artist has to be meticulous and seek perfection in the art. So every brush stroke, everything. But when that I becomes more dominant, there's all position and then it is like when can the artist attain siddhi is when the artist offers or becomes what we say in the we call it the flow state. The artist goes into it. He becomes the dancer becomes one with the what we can say movement and everything. So there we have to aspire. That is perfection. That is not rajasic. Rajas
Okay.
comes where when there is this continuous feeling of I or holding on. This is my art. I am the best. This is my artwork only. I have done better than other people who have ever existed. That I can take.
Possessive.
Yeah,
Okay.
possessiveness. Yes, please. Yes,
Okay.
please. Please continue. Ji. Yeah.
And the tamas guna binds the soul with ignorance. It
Ji.
creates delusion, laziness, sleep, and like when we know that there is happiness which is bound to the soul, we call it the sattva. And when rajas directs the mind towards action, and tamas clouds the soul and mind with delusion.
Ji.
Yeah. And yeah, that's, I mean,
All right. Ji.
so
So
when
yes.
there is darkness, inertness, tamas is said to prevail. So those who are conscious of all these gunas, and they have the knowledge of that, they are said to have achieved
Yes, they're
the
able to
knowledge.
understand. They're able to understand the forces. Yeah,
Yeah.
what is it today? I seem to be very cranky. This is a dialogue which we never say, no? We say that person looks cranky. This person is like that. That person is that way. So here, when we become quiet and we are able to observe, we're going to observe the forces play. These forces play in the universe. We don't realize, and sometimes we underestimate the power of the forces. We either ignore them or we underestimate them. But if you watch consciously you will be able to see these forces at play. The mother on the occult level, she would be able to see people, and she would, more than the face, she would see the spirit of that individual. What is there? A yogi also, when he can quickly understand, looking at a person, they are able to say certain things. How is it? Well, that is the drishti. So here, these three gunas are there. So far, we have been told sattva seems to be the most favorable among the three. Sattva looks to be slightly superior to what is rajas, and rajas definitely is superior to tamas. Tamas seems to be on the lowermost, what we can say, level so far. But it is said all three are present within the same individual. Sattva rises. What happens when sattva rises? There's a chance for activation of the probably different centers. There is a chance for sakshatkar. There is a chance for realization. But what about rajas? When rajas starts increasing, you get lobha, greed. You start feeling like, I have to have this. This person is my friend only. How can my friend be a friend of another person? Well, that is rajas. Like there's a Gana song, no? Radha kaise na jale. Well, little Rajas coming inside of Radha also. So that is why she is having jealousy. Well, that's just on a simpler note. But in ourselves, if we want to understand, there is when sattva rises, we can understand the clarity of things. When rajas rises, we start feeling possessive and we start having expectations. We want things continuously, meaning the peace or quietude on the inside, that is somewhere lost. Some people are in the midst of the biggest activity, continuously doing multiple things, and yet they are calm and peaceful. It looks like this person is absolutely doing nothing. And then there are people who are actually materially doing nothing productive, but on the outside, they are only doing work everywhere. Well, that is sometimes Rajasic. But let us see later as we understand its impact on works. So that is Rajas. Tamas. What happens when tamas grows? The person gets trapped in delusion. Delusion in the sense the person stops recognizing the truth. Say I say everybody says Shubharatri and I say Suprabhatam. I'm sitting in Pondicherry. You are also in India. Throughout Bharat Rashtra, it is now night. But I tell you Suprabhatam. What will you say? Thoda sa. He is not able to understand. It is the truth. He is not able to see. Why? Because I am in my own delusion. I am not able to understand the truth. That is the biggest danger. That is why tamas is the most dangerous one. We see that tama is darkness. In the Isha Upanishad also there are verses. Andhaha tamaha pravishanti yekecha hatmano janaha. Means these people, they they attack themselves. They injure themselves. Will anybody consciously injure oneself? Can anybody consciously cause suffering to oneself? Yes. So when will that happen then? If a person is causing injury to oneself and not realizing it, because the person is in delusion. So that is the danger of tamas. We can get trapped in it, like we get trapped in Maya. It's very difficult to come out of it. That is why people sometimes they get trapped in their own routine of sameness throughout life. They don't change. They don't want to change. Some people can see the truth. Some people can choose to be blind also, isn't it? That is why Krishna says, Yaha pashyati, saha pashyati. The one who sees, sees. In the meaning of that is this only. Truth is there, but you're not wanting to see it. That is the danger of tamas. So let us see. Let us continue. Krishna
No,
talks
but
about,
somebody who doesn't have good mental health, they also harm themselves. So how does
yes,
that? How do
that
you?
is also tamas, isn't it? Mental health is not right. Meaning, if you look at it in the terms of the Gita, what is happening when the health is not right? Your thinking, your clarity is clouded, isn't it? Your judgment is clouded. You're not able to understand things what they are. Now, modern mental health professions try to reinforce that aspect that is true. You accept it, you acknowledge it. But many times, what we do is we make it more stronger also, isn't it? That this is my nature. I have allergy to this. Doctors will say, yes, you have allergy to this. Underline. So this Janma, you are going to have allergy to this only. But there are so many people who come out of allergies. Like that, we saw one case of one I just shared when Vaidya got the experience of a person from chronic depression. The person moved. The gunas changed. Initially, the person was in full tamasic state. Tamasic state in the sense absolutely negative, no purpose, no meaning, nothing in life, nothing at all. And the person was only weeping, quietly sitting, not expressive, lazy, not taking medications despite being given. All this was going on. Then there was the next moment towards Rajas. The same person stopped being so emotionally depressed. Instead, this person got angry. So angry that he started shouting at the doctor, at the nurses, and everybody around. Was very frustrated. But that is again a moment. No, that's Rajasic. It's at least come out of tamas. And then when that same person came out of Rajas to Sattvic nature, that time, that time, that was the time where this person started talking about philosophy, talking about poetry. I mean, and some higher tarka, which the young doctor was very surprised to listen to such a person. She was like, wow, what an experienced person this person is. Same person is appearing different at different times, isn't it, Veena?
Yes,
That's
because
the
this happened
time.
recently in the college where my son studies, you know.
Okay, Ji. Oh, what
And
happened there?
yeah, there
Without
was
going into
one,
details? Yeah.
yeah, that his junior, he's in the second year, the first year, a girl, she twice tried to commit
End her life.
suicide.
Uh,
Yeah. The first
yeah.
time was she overdosed herself with some
Mm,
pill. And
yeah.
then the second time, just about a couple of days ago, she slit her wrist.
Uh,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So
And
that is such a person requires margadarshan, no? Somebody to give direction. That is what Krishna is doing to Arjuna also, no? Arjuna is saying, I want to end my life and I want to surrender. Actually, the psychotherapy model of Krishna is very beautiful. It needs to be standardized as soon as possible. If there are any psychiatrists around, you can start working. A lot of people have, if you check out the medical journals, you will see psychotherapy and Krishna's methods. But yet, it has not been integrated. People talk about the philosophy, but in everyday life, this is there. This is true, as what Binaji has said. These are moments, no? You give in to those moments, you sometimes
yes,
lose
it's the end
everything.
of,
It's the
yes.
end. It's the end of the story. Arjuna
It's
also
just
same
that
thing.
one moment, yes.
Yes, one moment. So for that is the danger. That is why Tama in the Upanishad also, those who are they go into even deeper darkness. They don't understand that. The Upanishad says they go into even deeper darkness. What they are doing is they're hurting themselves, their own souls. So that is why tamas is called. It is a ghor andhakara. A brilliant, lovely personality. Suddenly, why my shares in the market did not come, give me good returns. Some reason or the other, something or the other, this person turned away from me. My personal dreams are not getting fulfilled. My dearest ones, whom I expected them to be nice to me, are not being nice to me. My aspirations are now gone. All this I suddenly becomes too much for that person to handle. So yes, that is one thing. This is the danger of tamas. So yes, let us continue. Krishna says here. Let us see. Other darkness, that is delusion, ignorant negligence, actions of futile indulgence, action. Yeah, just simply doing action for doing it, not doing it consciously at all. These are all indicators of tamas. Actually, if you can identify, no, tamasic indicators, then you will be able to even work. Like we talk about gunas, no? You can see the type of action, nature of action, and you quickly can find out. At our factory also, suddenly we see one person, what happened? Why are you sitting like this? Why did you react this way? I literally go and immediately ask, and then there's a big story behind it. It is possible where we can become conscious when we understand this moment of gunas, because most important thing is being aware, no? If a friend understands, then you will be able to support also. You'll be able to. So this is why again I think Binaji has given a very important example. Yes, for ourselves also, but for Loka Sangra, because Krishna has told there's nothing greater than doing better for the working for the betterment of the world. And there's no scale like in Olympics you have no the javelin has to be thrown beyond this meters, then only you get a medal. In Loka Sangra, there is no that this many people. I have helped 500,000 souls is greater than somebody who has helped 5 souls or 1 soul. There's nothing like that. There's no competition. So all we have to do is become conscious, allow Krishna to do the work for us. But for that, we have to see. And it makes a difference. Little things make a difference when say done consciously. So this is tamas. If you see tamas, and if it is your duty, you have to intervene. But again, intervention cannot happen unless the person is receptive. So what you
Receptive.
can, yes, and the person, that is why Gita says, na buddhi bhedam. Don't create a divide. You are walking on the wrong path. You are tamasic. Some people unnecessarily give declarations thinking they are Nostradamus. This person, I can see, even astrologers do that. This person is going to not be happy next full years. 5 years, this person is going to the most adverse situation. Who is going to give that accurate prediction? Who knows the person giving the prediction is going to have a good week or not also. He's talking about 1 year, 2 years down the line. So instead observe the forces. When forces, even sadhaks, people on the path of sadhana also sometimes they fall into a sorrow, a gloom. It depends on the nature of the individual. But understand all of these are what? Prakriti's impositions. Prakriti's impositions meaning from the outside, not the full inner Swabhava. The brilliant sun is now being hidden by dark clouds. That is only tamas. So all we have to do is try to part the clouds or remain silent and quiet, not indulge in that sorrow, because that is the how we get trapped into it further. You are sorrowful and then you start listening to ghazals further into that. Zindagi ne zindagi var gham diye. That was the favorite song of a lot of my friends after they did not clear in the exams. But luckily, it was a phase. It did not. Afterwards, things went all right. But I think we should not attach to that as well. Let us continue. Krishna talks about, well, you see, a lot of people think that there was one doctor, a young doctor, he ended his life and he said, I took the chance. That's all he wrote in his note. And game will reset is what he said. Is it going to reset? Is it a game like we are playing on the video game? Life? Karma is there, karma bandhana is there. You're creating sanskaras, you're creating consequences. There will be repercussion. The journey is going on. It's not suddenly clear the slate and again restart. That journey is going to continue. And here, next shloka, Krishna talks about it. He says, Yada sattve pravruddhe tu pralayam yati deha bhrut tadottama vidam lokan amalan pratipadyate. At the final moments, if sattva nature is in abundance during the period of death, dissolution, and ascendance, the being reaches the realm that is most fortunate, where dwell the highest knowledgeable souls, immaculate. So, about Prayana Kala, Krishna is talking about. Prayana Kala was introduced to us at the end of the seventh Adhyaya, and the entire eighth Adhyaya was about how souls move ahead, especially with a focus on yogic beings. Yogic beings are conscious. We saw examples of people who were conscious of even in their last moments. And we also saw examples of people who were what we can say on a higher state of consciousness. How do we say higher state? They were calm and peaceful, even in the difficult moments. Even those moments did not create a fluctuation. Their last actions also were done with such beautiful works. Otherwise, my close friend of mine, he passed away and in an accident. And the last deed that he did online was he uh, liked and posted something about some adult actor. That was his last deed on the online front. I mean, what a wonderful life, what a beautiful everything. But you see, lost in that flow of things, only not even understanding, not even pursuing. There was no reason for him to, it was a tamasic action, what he did also. He drank and under the influence. He drove. There was no need for him to drive all the way from, everything was there in his home. Everything was perfect. He was from a very affluent family. Everything was good. And suddenly, in one moment, of what was it? What will you call it? Tamas only, isn't it? A doctor knows, no, you should not drink and drive. Well, but that's what happened. So but in sattvic state, what Krishna tells about in the sattvic state, the person, Krishna says, if he is having sattva nature, meaning that nature is quiet, the person is ready. Best example we saw in Kathopanishad, isn't it? Kathopanishad is a story of Yama and Nachiketas. The young boy, he is in such a sattvic state that he is able to go Sadeha into Yamaloka only with his yoga bala. And he's not even flustered. I mean, his own father says, I'll give you to Yama. Normally, a young child will get frustrated. What? My father doesn't care about me at all. How is he thinking like this? What is he? How can my person? All these emotions will come, no, reactionary. But this boy is like, okay, maybe divine wants something to be done through me, so I'll take this path. All right, as my father wishes, I will follow that path. And he raises himself. And that journey also is very occult and metaphysical journey, which is not revealed. It is my aspiration sometime in life, when I do get the time, that I'll try to write something about that missing part in the Kathopanishad. But it is beautiful. You see, the worst situation also with the sattvic nature, you're able to understand divine wants something to be achieved through this, so I will now face it. Meaning you are calm. And that is here. Even in the last moment, Krishna says that being reaches the stream that is most fortunate, where dwell the highest knowledgeable souls immaculate. We've seen about Chandra Loka, we have seen about the Shukla Marga, we've seen about the Krishna Marga, where the yogis are able to choose their journeys, post-death journeys also. By what? By virtue of their yoga bala. How did their yoga bala come? By living a sattvic life only, isn't it? By living a sattvic nature. Let us go on. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangeshu jayate tatha pralinas tamasi mudhayonishu jayate. If you can just look at think of a candle in a windless place, that is the sattvic nature, no? That is the yogi, no? The mind is what we can say very much tamed and quiet and still. So the flame is just rising higher, upwards towards what? Tamasama Jyotirgamaya, towards truth, light, towards that only. That is the moment of the yogi. But how about the Rajasic person? Sattvic person is that way. But Rajasic, have you heard of a Rajasic yogi anywhere? Yes? Oh, this yogi is Rajasic. When he does dhyana, before that, he wants at least 3 plates of chili pakoras. No, isn't it? We've never heard of that. So, yes, Rajasic is always with desires, expectations, always driven by what we can say kind of a lust, continuously unquenched. How is that person? That person is like a flame in a place you keep in your home only. Keep it on the table and turn on the fan. What will happen? Flame will flicker, isn't it? That is the flickering flame of a Rajasic. It will get extinguished, but after flickering in frustration, that is what happens in the last moments of a Rajasic individual. That property should not go to this person will be the final dialogue. Nothing else. No Shanti, no, all right, I had a good life, or no smaran of good moments, or wow. One participant shared how she, was able to give Gangajal to her father, and his father was next to her own daughters, all of them. He was so happy, so peaceful. They sang a bhajan. What a beautiful moment of family for everybody. All of them adhyatmically also connected. It's such a rare thing, no? Where parents also, children also, they are all seeking. It is a special occasion. And that was such a beautiful moment. She says that is always etched in my memory. And she says, I felt so good. Well, that was a sattvic. Last moment was also sattvic because the life was like that. But in the Rajasic, Krishna says, journey is also not complete. The person is going to have attachments continuously. The attachments are not going to leave that person. Why will that person suddenly change in last minute? All life, the person is driven by attachments. And so in the last moment, you have to leave everything, isn't it? Can anybody trick? No. Some people feel they can take. So people take advantage. There also expectations. An organization in UK, in USA, was actually collecting funds for ensuring good afterlife. People transferred 5 BHK in Swargaloka which offer. I don't know how, who is giving that guarantee, who is doing the legal verification of those documents, what pata is there, signed by which deva, who knows? But that was the desire. That desire was driven. It was very nicely caught by that organization. People started donating. He will do this much punya, this punya will add up to you because then your account will happen. Chitragupta has got direct connection with us, so we are going to keep telling you. Well, this desire will make a person a slave everywhere. So Rajasic person is bound by the desires in the last moment also. And so next Janma also it's continuing that way only. The soul is born, Krishna says, into the womb that seeks desires way. Meaning the journey continues. The person's Rajasic nature will take ahead. The person will continue with the Rajasic birth only next. And if tamas is the dying soul's nature predominant, the being is reborn in the low womb of being ignorant. Here again, it is ignorance which is wrong, which ignorance which is low. Nobody is talking about anything else. The ignorance is there in the last moment. You are going to continue with what you have not completed. It is like carry forward. In accounts, we have that, isn't it? Closing balance. Whatever is the closing balance for this month is going to be your opening balance for the next month. Something like that here also. Krishna says, tamas guna you have cultivated. It will affect your journey also. You will have to continue that way. Krishna goes on. The next sloka, 16th one. Karmana sukruta syahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasaha phalam. When the works are performed in sattva's light, the fruits are pure, as the mode of action is right. And works done in Rajasa state bring only pain, but ignorance results of Tamas's actions wane. So what happens when the works are done in sattvic light? What's going to happen? Well, they will have the stamp. They will have the stamp of sattva. The fruits are pure, as the mode of action is right. The action has been done perfectly. It has been done with love. It has been done in a nice manner. It will appear. It will bear its stamp only. Best example we can say is the comparison of food made by our mother with a famous eatery which is known for what we can say all the spicy foods or whatever junk food you can talk about it. Mother's food always tastes better, no matter how much you like junk food. That food brings you memories. That food connects you with something higher. That food you're able to feel the love. You're able to feel that inner connection. So that is what we call sattva. So when the actions are, the fruits are pure because the mode of action is right. They tell a sattvic person to even fold a bedsheet, it will be done perfectly. The person will do it as if he is doing an important work, as important as research or anything else. Because sattvic action understands that every karma needs to be done. How Adi Shankaracharya told, isn't it? Yad yad karma karomi tadakhilam shambho tavaradhanam. As an aradhana to you, hey Shambho, every action. So let me also fold a sheet as an aradhana to the divine. Let me do this action also. Every action can be, when we do that, do we have to do separate sadhana? Or every action becomes sadhana? That is the thing we can, that is a trick actually, that is a secret. Conscious, you become conscious, every action will become sadhana. You don't have to say, now particular Navratri is coming, so I have to recharge my batteries by doing sadhana. And then immediately after 9 days, I will discharge it again. It's not like that. Continuously, we have to do that at all times. And the works done in Rajasa state bring only pain. Means this you can understand. Sometimes Lakshana also, if you're not able to understand whether it is Sattvic or Rajasic, see if it's bringing you pain. Array, it was Rajasic. Unknowingly, I did a Rajasic action. I spoke something to my dear friend. I spoke it little too harshly. And now I am also not feeling good. My friend is also not feeling good. What should I do? Reduce that Rajas level, try to rise little bit higher in Sattva level and gains. Go and say sorry or apologize. Sincere. You don't have to always say it by words, but make amends. But when will you understand it? When you become conscious. So mostly Rajasic actions. People do a lot of things. They don't intend to do it, but it's Rajas which makes them do. We have so many people we care for. They also care for us. But Rajas first comes in. I know what's right for you. This is the correct way. Why? I said it. Krishna also has to listen to what I am saying because I am slightly on a higher pedestal. That is Rajas. Ahankar comes in immediately and it causes pain. Sometimes people cause hurt because of possessiveness. People do wrong actions. Sometimes jealousy manifests. Out of greed, we take away from somebody who deserves something. So many such things happen. All that is Rajas only. But ignorance results of Tamas's actions. Vain means tamas creates only an atmosphere of delusion. This is worse than pain because pain, at least you understand it, no? When you understand pain, you will not do. You will come out of it. You can come out of it after a little bit of suffering, a little bit of, you're not happy, and then you understand, and then you come out. But delusion will not allow you to understand only. That is why it is considered to be most dangerous. That's why people say why yogis don't like to drink. Simply, what is the simplest reason? Not that they don't have control or they will easily get what we can say inebriated. Sometimes yogis have taken, we have seen examples also. So many yogis, like once the Neem Karoli Baba was given so much of, what we can say, a particular substance which makes a person lose consciousness. But this person was just eating it like it's nothing. Because that is the yoga wala. He wanted to show that no, I'm not going to, my consciousness is in my control. Nothing can happen. So yogis understand that, but why they avoid it? Because when you lose consciousness, it does not mean only becoming unconscious. When you lose consciousness, you start speaking wrong things also. You forget the presence of the divine. You do something sometimes which cannot be undone also. These are the dangerous moments. That is why they say, I don't want to even eat certain foods which are going to lower my consciousness. I don't want to engage in activities which are going to lower my consciousness. So I will sit quietly because I want to gather my consciousness. I don't want to scatter all that I have gathered. So that is the nature. Tamas is a danger always. Krishna goes on, Tatvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramada mohau tamaso bhavato jnanam eva cha. From sattva alone, true gnosis comes, while with rajas, the being only greedy becomes. But tamas brings forth ignorance's illusion. The negligent being dwells in a state of delusion. So what does sattva do? Sattva allows you to get true knowledge, true realization. Rajas makes you only greedy. So don't get fooled. Sometimes Rajas will try to convince you that you need Rajas. It's not that you need Rajas. Rajas needs you, and then slowly Rajas will consume you completely. Your greed will take over completely. And what does Tamas do? Again, the worst. It puts a person in delusion. ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जगन्य गुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. The embodied ones in sattva upwards ascend. So what does sattva do? It raises you. It raises your consciousness. You start experiencing things, understanding things better. You start knowing, realization. That is most important. And that comes. when you are in a sattvic nature. Those in Rajas remain in the middle, but do not descend. So Rajas is not going to make you descend. Why? Well, Rajas is a force, isn't it? What does the force do? Force will push you. You have a bike and there's petrol in it. What's going to happen? You can drive, no? How long can you drive? How much petrol is there in that bike? How much Rajasic force you have? That much you can go ahead. Some people have full tank. They can at least go up to a certain, with their Rajasic force, they can push things ahead. But sometime or the other, the tank is going to get empty because you're burning it. Sattva is like having a beautiful, what we can say, a hydrogen fuel cell or in photovoltaic cell powered, and it's an EV vehicle, electrical vehicle, getting solar. Just like going to it's replenishable continuously. Sattvic nature will keep receiving energy from the universe. Personal expenditure is almost zero. So Sattvic nature will keep going ahead. Rajas will go up to a particular point and stop after that because that is the limitation. But tamas is dangerous. While the beings of tamas is inertial negligence in the soul's journey, only sink in further decadence. What happens then? It's like you're diving and then you're having a stone tied to your leg while diving. What's going to happen? You're going to go directly to that bottom, only rock bottom. That is the problem of tamas. Krishna goes on, Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drushtanu gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati. So we saw right now the three types of gunas. We saw the what we can say properties of sattva. We saw the properties of rajas. We saw the properties of tamas and their consequences. Here Krishna says, when the divine being attains the realization, who is this divine being? It's all of us only. He's saying when a yogi who works ahead gets the realization of what? Of nature's threefold modular operation. Means the three gunas, how they are functioning, and of the Supreme who is beyond nature. Means you understand the three gunas and you understand the creator of the three gunas is higher than these three gunas. When you recognize this, towards me he attains, towards me he turns and attains my stature. Means he says such a person turns towards the divine, meaning the person starts worshipping the divine, recognizing the divine, seeking the divine, whichever way the person understands. Some may choose dhyana, some may choose karma, some may choose bhakti, some may use chintan, shravan, manan, n number of ways. But that journey, that turning takes place. It sometimes makes a complete change in individual, complete transformation. That is why it is called, when they say Guru Diksha is got, no? They call it a second birth, the second awakening of that person. First is when the person became conscious on the earth. That is the awakening. But here is now I have become conscious of my purpose of existence. I have found meaning. I have found direction. This is the most important thing. Many times people go through their lives without even having a question of asking, what is my purpose? What is my direction? So that awakening takes place, Krishna says. Towards me he turns and attains my stature. Meaning what? You become divine. You become divine. Tukaram said, I went to see God. I didn't know when I became one. Was it Ahankar? No, it's not Ahankar. It's Sakshatkar. Sakshatkar of what? The highest Aham. Aham Brahmasmi. This is not that low, minuscule, tiny Aham of the individual. It is the supreme one that has created the Srishti. So that is the one possibility. This is a beautiful aspect of our Sanatan Dharma. It reminds us always of the divinity inside of us. Don't you agree there are moments where we question divinity inside of us? Yes? Anybody? Don't moments come in life? Am I divine? And most of this happens when we're not successful, or sometimes we feel outer situation is, we fail somewhere, or you don't achieve up to your own set standards. And like, what? Where is this? I remember this Shivoham, that was the first, one of the first mantras I learned. My first question was Katham. How? How Shivoham? What is this? How can it be? It's a big under. It was something I couldn't understand. How is it? What me inside of this? What is this? What, Shiva has fallen down, or have I fallen down? What is the meaning of all of this? These were questions, but no. Afterwards, my guru gave me some direction. So yes, divinity is there. Maybe not visible. At least it's visible to the divine. That's enough for me. Even if it's not visible to me, I have Shraddha in the divine. Let the divine do everything else. But this turn is required. When we start recognizing, then our next journey takes place. What happens? What is our next journey then? Well, it is going beyond the gunas. So we are told, there's something which is said to be higher than the gunas. That is divine consciousness. That is said to be what we can say beyond the three gunas. Gunan etan atitya त्रिंदेहि देह समुद्भवान जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखैर विमुक्तोऽमृतम् अश्नुते. So this person will experience what? Amritam. He becomes free and experience that immortal consciousness. Rising upwards, the embodied soul is elevated. When from nature's triple bondage it is liberated. From birth, death, old age and disease, the sufferings mortal, the soul is freed and attains to the immortal. Well, that is the consciousness, isn't it? We also say Amritasya Putra Vayam in Sanskrit. We are the children of immortal consciousness. We are the children, Anandasya Putraha, as Sri Aurobindo says in his Upanishad. We are the children of Ananda. We are the children of that bliss. Are we products of sin? No, we are not, according to Sanatana Dharma. We are not. We are children of Ananda. We are children of this highest consciousness. How do we realize it? Sadhana. Sadhana will help us. When that rise happens, Krishna says the three modes also, this Rajas, Tamas, Sattva will not bind us. The person even becomes free from Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. How is it possible? Look at the yogis, look at their way of life, and you will be able to understand that the person is free and attains to that highest consciousness. Krishna was what? Sattvic, Rajasic, or Tamasic? Anybody? Or if we can want to just try, okay, if when Krishna's some Sattvic moment, can anybody think of a good Sattvic moment of Krishna? Yes, we know so many stories. Any Sattvic aspect, Sattvic moment of Krishna?
Helping his friend. Sudam.
Yes. Okay, helping his friend, Vasundharaji says, all right. Yes, Binaji?
He was
Draupadi.
calm and peaceful even when he was being abused or disrespected.
Okay, Binaji says, even when he was being abused, he didn't get Rajasic, no? Oh, I have Sudarshan Chakra, now I'm going to, like in the Tamil movies, the heroes come and they raise their collar and they throw. He did not. Like, "Acha, theek hai." Even when Gandhari gave a curse, the biggest curse, you will suffer your entire full, your vansh only will get destroyed. And it's the biggest curse. He had enough power to turn it away. He took it quietly. It was unbelievable. Again, Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna sitting in the middle of the battlefield. He is not Rajasic, he is giving this Gyan. So he is Sattvic, we can say. Krishna is Rajasic, has anybody felt anytime? Or we saw some shade of Rajas maybe? From our understanding. We will look at what Krishna was, whether he can be bound by the three gunas is the second question. We'll see that later. But if at all, Any moment where we can, from our understanding, which may not be perfect, but can we attribute? Maybe this looked a little Rajasic, apparently Rajasic. Any moment?
When he picked up the wheel to
Yeah, there's a story, no, in the Mahabharata. He picks up the wheel towards Bhishma, no?
yes.
Yes. He said, I had promised I'll not take part in the battle. He said, I don't need weapons. I will not use weapons. He says, this wheel of the chariot is enough to become a weapon. I am Chakradhara. No, I don't have to only hold Sudarshan Chakra. I can take this chakra also and change the Kala Chakra if I need, if I want. That was the Sakshatkar, which. But was he angry? No, he was not angry. He was doing it for what? Dharma Sanstapana. So we can say it looked Rajasic, but it was not Rajasic. Rajas creates what? Frustration, depression, anger, attachment. Krishna didn't have any of it. So he had some shade of Rajas, but he was not Rajasic also. Sattva, yes, but he was something beyond Sattvic also. Tamasic, well, tamas is what? Delusion, isn't it? Now his hero says, I'm not going to take part in the battle. Nobody in their right mind will smile, isn't it? Prahasanniva Bharata Gita says, Krishna is smiling. Where is he smiling? In the middle of the battlefield. In the middle of the battlefield, the hero whose charioteer he has become. Why he has become charioteer, we don't know. Whether it was a sattvic thought or whether it was tamasic thought. My enemy, haha, take it. I give it to the opposite team. My army is in the Kauravan side. I have become the charioteer for the Pandavan side. And when my hero is speaking about you were greedy or he's speaking about depressive thoughts, I am smiling. Krishna is smiling there. He says, Prahasanniva Bhati. Oh, Arjuna, wow, what thoughts you are having. Somebody would say this is the wrong place. He's smiling at the wrong time. What is the meaning? It's just he's in delusion. A lot of people thought about Krishna like that, but that was not the case, isn't it? He had a higher understanding. So somewhere we can see tamas, rajas, and sattva. We know they have limitations, and we know Krishna was not bound by any limitations. Nobody could bind him. So there is something higher, and Krishna says, when you reach towards the divine, when you reach towards the divine, you also become free. We become mukta. There are said to be different types of muktis like that. There's the four muktis are there as you go closer to the divine. When the turning starts, you start becoming mukta actually. First is samipata. You start feeling close to the divine. You start feeling the presence of the divine in your life. When you feel the presence of the divine, that's all. You can face any difficulty, any challenge. It's also small and tiny in front of. Means if God be for you, if God be for us, who can be against us? This was written in my school on the board. It was a Catholic school, so they had this quote always. But how true it is. Jako rakhe saya mar sake na koi. No, no, divine is with you. So samipata is there. Then salokata happens. Then swarupata happens. You become like the divine ultimately. That's what Krishna is talking about here. And then comes the biggest mukti, which is the sayujya. You are now one with the divine. You're not just looking like divine, you have become. So that is what Krishna is telling. He talks about Gunatit. Immediately, Arjuna. So Krishna was not Rajasic, he was not Sattvic, he was not Tamasic, he was Gunatita, meaning the one who had transcended the gunas which are imposed by nature, meaning he got some hacking secret to rise beyond the three operating systems which are functioning. He got something new, a newer technology, something like that. So Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, all three could not bind him because he was in what we call laya. Laya of what? Of that divine, in that connection. That is why he was able to say the Gita he tells later on in the Anugita afterwards. Because he has reached that state, and from that state he's got that access to that consciousness. The consciousness is not separate from him. He has become one with that, and that flows through him. You will not believe it. Arjuna asked for the Gita again. Krishna said, I can't give it to you. I can't tell you. Why? This, that time I was in that life. I was in that yoga yukto. I was in that bhava. And you also were different that time. So this aspect, what is this Gunatit? Arjuna has finally got a question, and it's a good question. He immediately asks this question right now. Because this is not the old Arjuna, this is Arjuna the sadhak. He's going to ask the question which is very practical. He says, Kairlingais Trin Gunan Etanatito Bhavati Prabho Kimacharah Katham Chaitams Trin Gunan Ativartate. He's very practical and pragmatic. He says, Krishna, what are the signs that one can see? You remember he had asked this for even the second adhyay. Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha. He wants to understand who is a Sthita Prajna. Give me the Lakshana. How can I identify a Sthita Prajna? Like that, he says, tell me, how? Who is this? Who is this Gunatita? What are the signs that one can see? What are the actions of that soul free? The triple natures, how does one ascend? Oh Lord, answer to these questions, please extend. Krishna, tell me how I can become Gunatit. Tell me how does one transcend? What are the outer signs? What will such a person do? Will he be levitating? Or he'll be walking, talking like every normal person? Let us see what Krishna says. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati. Oh Arjuna, Sattva's enlightened mode of action, Rajas's work impulsions, and Tamas's delusion. He who neither detests nor shirks away, nor desires these vehicles of nature in any way. Na dveshti. We saw that dvesha is what? Hatred, no? When you have strong disliking, it immediately transforms into hatred. Krishna told even in the Vishwarupa, the Ghora Vishwarupa, the Ugra Vishwarupa. In that Ugra Rupa, what did he say? You cannot become an instrument if you are having hatred in your heart. If you want to become instrument of even the Ugra Rupa, some people aspire, no? I want the Devi to work through me. I want the strength. I want the strength of Ma Kali, or I want the great force of one particular Devi. All of this, if you're having hatred inside, it's not going to. So Krishna says clearly, he says, he who neither detests nor shirks away, nor desires these vehicles of nature in any way. Meaning you're not hating and you're not running away from them and not overly desiring also. And recognizing these are vehicles, no? Vehicles of nature. Sattva is a vehicle of nature or not? Yes. Rajas also is. Tamas also is. If you understand that they are a vehicle of nature, meaning nature has created it for some purpose, isn't it? So stop hating something. So then what will happen? You will be able to catch your good sleep also. When it's required, it will become like Nidra Samadhi Sthiti, as how Adi Shankaracharya talked about. It is not a Nidra making you unconscious. Instead, it's like a recharging of your batteries. For what? For doing work. And you're not so alcoholic also. All the time only I have to do work. I have to do work only because I do work. The sun rises in the morning. Not the case. You have enough sattva nature that chalo theek hai. Let it be. You should not hate also, not desire also. Because then we will be able to understand, then we'll become conscious. Otherwise, sometimes people always keep trying to work, work, work. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this continuously. What happens? Organization, team leader says, no, complete this project, then that project. What's going to happen ultimately then? Productivity of the team will just reduce, isn't it? Nothing good will come out. You cannot keep. So, Ramliji he shared one very beautiful experience when he was with his guru, Gokhleji. Like I said previously, there's not much of an age difference. And Damleji would work quietly and do his work, and a lot of non-verbal communications would take place. I'm very lucky I can have dialogues as much as I want. But their little aspects would be understood by smallest of words. So one day, Damleji, it was the evening time, and Dami was sitting on the table with a file and writing something, some work he was doing. That time only his Guru Gokhleji came in, and he just saw him and he said, he just told like this. He would also address Damleji with respect only, call him Damleji only. He just turned to him and said, Damleji, काम बंद करना भी आना चाहिए. That was the one line he said, and he went ahead. Damleji is receptive, unlike I have to hear so many times and then I try to understand and follow. But here, smallest little words also, they're having a greater effect. Immediately, he just understood that, yes, just like how work has to be started, closing of work is also important. That is why in his factory, he has started a wonderful aspect. Closing time means closing time is sharp. This time, it doesn't extend for workers also. Order comes, it goes to the next day. And the starting of the day always begins with dhyana, Vedic mantras, listening for some time, and then the work starts. Because when you do that in regulation, then only it is going to help you. So sattva, raja, and tamas, all three. We have to neither hate anything nor get overly attached also. Overly getting attached to sattva sometimes becomes a problem, isn't it? I'm too sattvic, so I cannot shout. I'm too sattvic, so I will not sound bad. I will talk only in this tone. Sometimes we have to change the tones also, isn't it? Pitch has to be increased. Wrongdoer, can you say, please don't do wrong? I don't like wrong at all. We shouldn't do this. Who will stop doing that? There, what we can say, the force has to come. That force has to come not out of frustration or anger. Again, that is useless. It has to come from what? From Rutam, the highest truth. It is a strength, a consciousness flows inside of the individual. So that is something. Krishna goes on. He says, Udasina vadasino gunairio na vichalyate gunavartanta ityevam yovatishthati nengate. He who remains firm and witnesses quietly, seated well above the triple modes nonchalantly, knowing all occurrences to be sync in nature's way, detached and immobile, he observes the forces play. Meaning, if you are able to take one step back, these are vehicles of nature, isn't it? One may be a cycle, another may be a car, and then may be a jet. Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, however we want to look at it. But these are the forces of nature. Now Rajas is moving in. If you watch a meeting, sometimes work meetings also you can identify. Why you can identify not just in corporate world, even in meetings of spiritual organizations also you will see forces play. Why? Anybody? Corporate world we can understand, we say material world. But in spiritual world, spiritual organizations also we see forces play. Why is it?
After all, they are all humans only who are in
Yeah,
the.
perfectly, absolutely. There's no separate distinction between spiritual and material. All places. Gunas are going to function, isn't it? Just because I have done 5,555,000 japa, three gunas will not work on me. They'll bounce off. No, we are going to have that. And that, when you're able to observe the forces, you can give right leverage at right time and it will create. Sometimes you have to prick the Rajas. The Rajas will do a work. But for that, you have to not be involved completely into it. Instead, you have to be in the higher consciousness. One moment. This way, it will help us do things we can understand. One other example I can think of is again, uh, yes, we have four more shlokas. I think you can just, yeah, I think if we can complete it, we'll see today. So this is about Damleji's life only. His factory when it was in the city. That time, mostly our work requires, we can say, women from the, you know, who are going to be sorting the herbs and doing all other works. These are women only are required. Most of them are they are not very educated also. So they would work at his place. And but Pondicherry, despite being a spiritual place, has very less cost for alcohol. So most of the people are many alcoholics are there, and so women do the hard work in many homes. Husband reduces the bank balance and drinks. That is all the story is very common. It was there before also, now also it's happening. So here, what happened was one staff's husband came to the door of the factory at the entrance, started calling out to her, and he wanted money. Now here it's a sacred place, a workplace. Damleji himself a wrestler. Everybody was scared ki now what is going to happen. Dhobi Pachad, or he was what we can say like everybody had a feeling like Jamad Agni only, the full force. Everybody is now shocked because Damleji became cognizant of that noise. Who is that? And then now we're going. So he started walking, and Ramji told me he went with a simple intention of raising that person up and then putting down, showing him that this is the wrong place you have come. Everybody was shocked. He went straight all the way there. He even raised his hand to give him because he knows which pressure point to touch and how to make somebody's shoulder down and all of that. He knows it well. He said, I raised my hand because right from childhood that was there in Indore also earlier. Ab prasad dena hai. Somebody is doing wrong, he has to be given prasad, a different type of prasad. So he had gone for that purpose, raised his hand. But it was not out of anger, it was out of duty, and it was not driven by what we can say dvesha or hatred also. He raised the hand, but in the last moment he understood that he doesn't have to do anything. He just touched the other person's head, like a elder person touches a younger man. He just touched his head, raised his hand for something else, but he touched his head. Quietly, he just brushed his hand over his hair and shook his hand like this. That's all. He is not very familiar with the Tamil language also, but whatever, he didn't have to speak a word. He just did that. And what happened next was this person felt like he got electric shock. He then promised in the evening to his wife that your Ayya is a very divine person. I will never ever come to trouble you anymore. I have also been very bad to trouble you. I will not trouble you. Now, what is that? Well, that is the consciousness, meaning nature will function according to that. But when you connect with the higher consciousness, you will be in that mode where you will get the hint, you will know what needs to be done. Vivek Buddhi also will be Jagrat. That is what Krishna is talking about. So, the simple example of what is Gunatit, we don't understand many times. Well, this is it. You be connected with the divine, divine will make you, will raise your consciousness. Whose job is it? It is divine's job. Divine work should be done by divine. Instrument must do instrument's work. So each of us have a responsibility. So let us all focus on that only. So Krishna says, Samadukha, Samaduk, Samadukha Sukha Swastha, Samaloštashma Kanchanaha, Tulya Priya Priyo Dhiras, Tulya Nindatma Sanstutihi, who dwells in the self poised and still. In both joy and sorrow, he remains tranquil. Stone, mud, or gold, all as one he treats. Praise or blame, friends and foes alike he greets. So Krishna says this, he says, this is a Gunatit nature. Again, Lakshana Arjuna asked, no, how do I identify a person who is Gunatit or what are the Lakshanas? He says, this person who is remaining calm and poised, both joy and sorrow. Joy we get excited, and sorrow we start weeping. But the one who is able to keep that balance, no, in joy and sorrow. How can we get, where do we get the strength? Say somebody you are, you know, somebody you care a lot, you've poured your heart and soul for a person, and that person does not care at all, or the person is crushing everything good that you stand for. You'll be broken, no? Then where do you find the strength to become calm?
This too shall pass.
Yes,
Transient, transient. This too
yes,
shall
yes,
pass.
and yes, that is true. That is philosophical. But when you get the shock, it becomes difficult, no? To come to neutral. We're not saying be happy at that moment. Nobody can be happy. But to become balanced, we need something to hold on to, no? What can we do? Yes, Ji.
Everything is temporary.
Yeah, yes, that is what we can say philosophically, true. But practically, what do we hold on to? Because we need something, some anchor point, no?
Some inner strength.
Yes, inner strength. So what is that anchor point? That is the Shraddha Sthana. That is why Shraddha Sthana has to be firm. And you cannot make the Shraddha Sthana firm only during the time of an earthquake, no? Shraddha Sthana should be made firm. Like building has to be built at slowly and slowly. The foundation has to become strong. It's not suddenly at that moment only. Person does all the scams and then has got a notice raid is going to take place, then immediately, okay, Bhagavan, please help me. I'm not going. That's not going to help at all. Instead, the Shraddha Sthana must be made firm so that you remain at good moments also. I'm not going to get too excited. The one who has given me this good time, if he sees I'm getting too excited or having too much ahankar, he might try to bring me down with a bad time. So let me become calm. Let me be peaceful at all times, good and bad. Stone, mud, or gold, all is one. That we already saw, isn't it? Samaloštashma Kanchana was told previously. Treating as one does not mean equating all with the same thing. Like otherwise, I will say, yes, please give all the gold in your home to me. I will replace it with stones. No, Sama, Loshtashma, Kanchana, meaning identifying the place where stone has to be used, the murti will be made from that stone only. Shaligram murti is more valuable than gold murti. Because there where it has to be, that is exactly where it's going to be. Same way where gold is required, nothing else, that place, it has its value. Mud also has its own value. So understanding its value, not getting attached, so able to look at all three with oneness. Praise or blame. Somebody praises you, somebody criticizes you. It's part of life, isn't it? We cannot get affected. Otherwise, sometimes you get very funny moments. It will be very difficult. You will keep fluctuating like a pendulum only. Happy, sorrow, happiness, sorrow, happiness, sorrow. In the end, you will only get tired. I had got a best experience where I got really good praises, which I had never got in a very, very long time. And I, at the same time, just that was before 24 hours, I got kicked out of somebody's office also. And I felt if I stay outside of his office, he will come with a stone at me. So I quickly ran away from that office, sat next. I didn't run, but I just walked out and sat next to a Tulsi to in a stranger's building. I mean, I didn't even know where I was in Bangalore that time. Just I saw the Tulsi and I was like, Chalo Krishna, sitting here trying to figure out what happened, what really went wrong, how did this situation happen. I didn't get too much time because there were some other works on the agenda. So I went back to it after 15, 20 minutes. I had to get busy again. And within 24 hours, somebody is putting a pagdi and putting some kind of har and everything. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? No, but both, Ramliji asked which is true. I had to say, no, both are true and both are not true also. They're true from their perspective. But from my perspective, I cannot take both. Neither the praise is also divine. Criticism also is divine. I don't need to worry about that. So that is important. Krishna says, friends and foes also. Today somebody is your friend. Who knows tomorrow your best friend might cease to be your best friend at all. And there are many times we experience this. Then we can't come to terms with it because we have too much attachment. Instead, it's understandable. It's normal. Today, friend is your best friend. Tomorrow, the person may not be. Day after tomorrow, the person may again be. You don't have to get so attached to every outcome. Each person is free, no? What if somebody doesn't like the way you talk only? You want that person to still be your friend and get suffer your talking all the time. No, the person is feeling free away from you. Let that person experience that joy of becoming free from your influence. It's all right. So that balance is important. Krishna says, Man apamana yoho tulya tulyo mitra ripakshayoho sarvarambha parityagi guna atitah sa uchyate. To him, honor and insult are just. Yes, we are only having 3 more shlokas. Can we complete the 3 shlokas today? Yes, if everyone is okay. Yeah. Yes, okay, fine, thank you. So to him, honor and insult are just the same, meaning the person is able to treat both. It's very difficult to treat insult with peace and poise. For that, you need to get some insults first to experience this. It's all right. Try, look at it as an opportunity. Krishna is giving me an opportunity. What is an insult? Insult means something that you are not, no? Basically, you are not that. That is why you don't like it. It's all right. No, somebody else says, I am a biggest fool. A good friend of mine told that. It's he has the right. If I go and try to understand why he felt I'm a big fool, I might actually end up agreeing with him also, no? Because from his perspective, that may be correct. Why should I get so frustrated that this person should consider me like this? So an insult also, today you might be doing all good for society. Everybody in the society might be praising you. Tomorrow, all of them will only say, this is the worst person ever. Should not make a difference at all. It should not make a difference because people's opinions will keep changing. Will keep changing all the time. You cannot keep changing according to the opinion of people. The faction of foes and friends, another zero-sum game. This is also interesting. A zero-sum game is what? It's like a factory running on break even. Whatever is investment, that much only is profit also. So there is neither great profit, no loss also. Means how much invested has been got back. Something like that. This person is recognizing friends and foes. Because when we talk about gunas, I think we must have experienced gunas only at play, no? Many times when we lost some friends in our life, close friends suddenly cease to remain close. Whom to blame? Not ourselves, not our friends. We can blame Prakriti and Gunas. Rajas was first functioning there. Rajas created a situation. I acted Rajas fire. I added more oil in that fire. Then it blew out of proportion, and then that relationship suffered. But it's okay, no? One door opens, another closes, one closes, the other opens, something like that. Friends and foes. Enemies, okay, chalo, I lost one friend. I lost one enemy there also. One more place. It's okay. Understanding it like a zero-sum game. Today, one person came in, another person went out. It's okay. If you can look at it with balance and poise, that is said to be what Krishna says. Gunatita, meaning in all his work actions, his desire for initiating has ended. Human nature or mortal nature, this person has said to have transcended. What does this mean? Sarvarambha Parityagi. All arambhas, beginnings. Meaning this person will not say good morning also, will not start anything also, no Shubharambha at all in life. Person will remain inside of a shell. That is tamas again. Can someone tell me what do you think would be this Sarvarambha Parityagi? Yes? He has given the Tyaga of the all beginnings itself. Then this person will never do anything new, no? No new technology, no updating, no understanding, no growth of consciousness, or there is something else in it. Because Krishna is saying such a person is said to be Gunatita. Anybody?
Like an instrument, to be an
Yes,
instrument.
yes. Instrument, meaning like they say, no, Naham Karta, Harihi Karta. Divine is functioning. Divine will give so many projects more than that person can think of. New initiations will keep happening. Siddha Kunjika Stotra, it is said, Omkari Srishti Rupai, Rimkari Pratipalika. Klimkari Kamarupinye Bijarupe Namostute. The goddess is like that. Devi is, she can create a new Srishti with just the nad of one mantra. So, like that, the consciousness of the divine is functioning through that person. The person is not initiating, but the person is conscious and taking ahead what the divine is initiating, recognizing what is divine, what is human, what is lower nature, what is higher nature. All of this is understandable. Let us go on. Krishna says, so it becomes little difficult, no, to identify what divine wants. Most of the time, we don't know what we want only. Here, where we are going to understand what divine wants. Well, this sloka, next one, makes it quite easy. Krishna says, मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते सगुणान् समातीत्यैतान् ब्रह्म भूयाय kalpate. He who loves and yearns for me with his heart, he whose devotion for me has no end or no start. Nature's triple modes he can easily breach, and the supreme state he is ready to reach. So what is it? Love is making things easy. Why? It is the only human emotion which will allow us to rise. And this is what love? This is love towards the divine. Divine love. So if you want to become Gunatit, start loving the divine truly, perfectly, deeply. How deep is your love for the divine? Immeasurable. Deeper than the deepest point of earth, higher than the highest point. That is how a Shraddha of an individual should be. Such a person who is having this Shraddha need not worry. Krishna only will take him around or her around. He becomes a Sarthi. No, he has the habit of being Sarthi always, no? From Mahabharata's time. And when somebody is driving you, what do you feel? You feel relaxed. चलो ठीक है, मुझे तो कुछ चलाना नहीं है. I can enjoy the view. It's as simple as that. But for that, for Krishna to lead you, you have to earn his love. And that can be, love can be earned with love only, isn't it? Not by money, not by anything else. So this Shraddha is important. Krishna goes on, Brahmano hi, excuse me, Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya vyavayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ekantikasya cha. Because why? Why does loving the divine help you breach what are the three modes of nature binding every living being? What is this so special? Well, the one we are loving is special, isn't it? The divine is, no? And who is this divine? The divine is the supreme one, who is the master of all the gunas, the master of Prakriti also. He says, because I am the eternal foundation, the imperishable and immortal Lord of creation, the timeless code of man, I verily uphold. I am the highest bliss that a mortal can behold or grasp. Sukhas, means sukhas, atyantika sukha. That is what is said to be the divine. Paramananda, Satchidananda. Again, what is Satchidananda? Sat, truth, Chit is consciousness, Ananda is bliss. In the Rig Veda, they're all together only. They come together, isn't it? When you are based and your life is based in the consciousness of truth, bliss is going to be with you at all times. It doesn't matter. People around you may be thinking extremely opposite or opposite of everything that you believe in. It doesn't make a difference. Why? You are embedded in that consciousness of truth. You start getting the guidance also. You start getting the help also. People who don't want to guide you also will start guiding you, not by their will. The driver is different, no? He will make people whom you don't like also start helping you. Why? Well, he is the divine. So this is something. With this, Krishna completes the 13th adhyay, 14th adhyay on the three gunas. So last part we learnt was about there is something called Gunatita. Gunatita state can be, first part Krishna has very practically told how that can be done. Some people don't like to read instruction manuals, but Krishna's bhakti is like, bhakti yoga is like, okay, I didn't read the instruction manual, but I'm listening to the one who has created the instruction manual. That is also fine. So with love for the divine, we can reach that state of Gunatit also. Meaning, when you have to display your anger, when you have to display your force, all of that you should be able to. You cannot say, I'm sattvic, so I cannot. Many people feel physical strength is everything. It's not everything. Spiritual strength is everything. That is the base. And for that, we need to be connected with the divine. Then we can transcend. When should you act? When should you not act also? Sometimes Krishna is telling no, to a Rajasic Arjuna, Arjuna, what will people say if you run away from the battle? Didn't Krishna also run away from the battle? Yes, but that was not in tamasic manner like Arjuna. That was in a gunatit state. Now it's required. Now it's required to recede, so I'll recede. Now it's required to raise, as Manisha ji gave the beautiful example. Now it's time. It is time to remind whom? Pitama Bhishma, the real meaning of Dharma. Bhishma also immediately puts down his weapons. He's a conscious person. He understands, okay, let me get mukti now only. It will be free. I will be free. So this is important. Sattva Rajatama. I remember once I had shouted for the first time in my life to one person who had come to fix the CCTV camera, the wires. 3 days he was doing work, nothing useful was going on. And I figured out he was cheating and he was just messing everything. And I saw the quality of work also. It was going to break down very shortly. So I call him again. I never shouted, but this time I felt he is now spending money of the company. I cannot tolerate it, and he's fooling. Excuse me. He said, I just told him, you go out. I don't want you to see, I don't want to see your face anymore in this premises. I actually asked him to go out, and I've never done that. Then I called my Guruji and said, I have done this, and I thought I'm now going to get some scolding, or what's he going to say? He said, congratulations, I'll give you kheer today. You raised your voice. This was something which was not required. But you see, because of my swabhava, I was not doing it. We have to transcend our swabhava for the divine. We cannot say, I'm this natured, so I will not do it. So, with this, I request somebody if you can summarize, then we conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Yes, anybody? Anything?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, Chitraji.
Yeah. So we saw that in the final moments, if the sattva guna is in bounty, he or she reaches a deserving punya loka. So that is one thing we saw. And if rajas is in abundance, he takes birth in the desires are more basically. And then if it's tamas is more, it's ignorance is more. That kind of birth is what would be given. And then we saw that sattvic works yield pure fruits, whereas rajas infused works will yield pain, and tamas is almost vain or worthless. Yield is what is given. And then the sattvic nature raises the consciousness of a person, and rajas ensures that the person stays in middle but doesn't descend. And tamas actually sinks the soul's journey. That is one thing we saw. So when a person realizes that the divine is Gunatita and he surrenders, he attains the divinity. And when he overcomes the three gunas, he is free from this birth and death cycle and attains moksha. And when Arjuna asks what are the signs and how does one grow beyond the three gunas, uh, Krishna says that one who doesn't carry hate nor any desire is a person, and one who is firm and realizes that it's all the gunas that are at play, and he's balanced in all situations, does not discriminate, and understands that he is just the instrument of the divine and does not have any desires. So he is the one, and one who loves the divine unconditionally can become the Gunatita. And Krishna finally concludes that he is the supreme creator and he is the highest bliss that one can attain.
Yes, absolutely, Chitraji. That's perfectly summarized. So this is something which divine will take us. When he has said, he has given a promise, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. To whom he has given that? Ananyas Chintam Tumam. Those who are having that bhakti. Sudama got the experience, isn't it? He didn't even recognize this. This is my home. Everything got changed. Same everything. Home was the same, but complete transformation by what? Rupa. So, all right, with this we conclude the Shanti Mantra. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tatsat, Krishnam Vande, Jagat Gurum. Hari Om. If any queries are there, you are welcome, or we conclude.
So this cunningness, Dyuta, it comes under Rajasic or Tamasic?
If it is Shakuni's Dyuta, it comes under Tamasic. If it is Krishna's, it is Gunatita, because you see in our Vibhuti Darshana, Krishna says, no, Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi. Chalayatam Asmi.
Yeah.
I am the cunning in that case. So our Shakuni thought, no, because my mind is greater than Krishna. I'll trap him. Because Krishna cannot do this. Krishna is all goody goody and he is like this. He cannot, in the cunningness, there is nobody better than me, is what he felt. Many people with lower natures feel like that, no? They don't understand. A good person, gets angry, no? Then that Raudra root cannot be born. Normal person, individuals, sometimes, you see, we underestimate a lot. But for that, it has to not be reactionary. It should not be on what we call the emotional level. With the divine grace, you will understand what Dyuta is played even by chess players, isn't it? Deception. Well, even players, all sports also. Dyuta is there. Deception is there. I'm going to hit this side and suddenly last minute change the other side. It is there. So we have to connect. Yes, yes. All right.
Yeah, I have one doubt again with the Rajasic thing. It seems to be playing everywhere all around these days. In a class where you have a
These,
teacher and a student.
these days or the Duryodhana's times also.
It's been there and maybe it's on the
Okay.
rise now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So please tell me.
In a scenario where there is a teacher and a teacher is evaluating the student, and the teacher gives him very bad remarks, and the child gets demotivated. So here, the Rajasic thing is there for the teacher that he wants
Yeah.
that impulsiveness to to have better work and
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
yeah, I'm
Yes.
giving the example of my son. It happened last week during he's a
Okay.
student of design. He studies
Okay.
in National Institute of Design.
Okay.
So uh, design is always actually it's a perspective,
Yeah.
when you evaluate something. So the last jury in the previous two juries, they graded him so well, they praised him, like I was reminded when you mentioned that you get praises and the next minute you can be criticized also.
Yeah.
So this teacher, after two evaluations of very high, scores, he comes to a stage where, this teacher gives him the most offensive remarks, and he's totally demotivated, and he tells me, "I'm coming to Bangalore today. I cannot take this. I cannot focus on my work. I'm so demotivated." So now in this stage, how do you handle this? I mean, the student
And
he wants,
student, no, we can't change the teacher, no. That's a system. That
yeah.
person is functioning according to that. But how this person takes it, no, that is very, very important. And that person must learn that I will not only get credit, I will get praise. Eiffel Tower
No,
was
but for a
constructed so
teacher
beautifully.
also, he's supposed
No,
to guide him. He could
no,
always say
no.
that, okay,
I
you need to improve on this, instead of
no,
giving him such a,
yeah, but but I'm saying is we cannot change the teacher, no, individual, no. Teacher is not under your training or tutelage. So unless the teacher is under your training, you can say this is wrong. But that person is individual life. First time I wrote a poem was in class six. Means for first time was I think second class or something. But in sixth class I wrote a poem. One teacher came and asked me, my English teacher, Sushruth, where have you copied it from? I laughed because of what? She thinks it's copying. Wow, means she thinks it's a standard worth copying. That's what I laughed and I said I didn't copy. But she didn't believe me. She did not believe me, so she did not publish it in the school magazine. I got irritated. I got irritated and like, go. No need to write any poems anymore. No point writing poetry. Anyway, what do poets do? Poets have only one purpose: to trouble children coming in exam. What is in the mind of the poet? Why spider fell down? It fell down because of gravity. Why did it fall? What is the poet thinking because of it? He is jobless. That's all I knew. Till college, luckily I got a guru and who opened up the poetry again. But during college, before college, I got lowest marks in creative writing. Never I could, I would say, means my mother took me to the same teacher again. Tell him how to write so that he gets better marks. No, I did not. My grades were also very low. Even when I had an interview with a foreign university delegate was looking at my marks, said your English marks are very less. I said, but IELTS I've got 8.5. That is your national, your institutes, you're going to look at this. You're looking at my engineering degree for my engineering marks. But that person, none of my college professors or teachers felt. Now the choice is in your son, just because you have to ask your son, because of your teacher, are you going to deny yourself the joy of expression? Give him examples of so many people have been berated. Eiffel Tower, he must be knowing, no? Designer means he must be knowing about the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower was called the most grotesque and ugliest of, human, what we can say, constructions. It was a blot on the beauty of France. It was a blot in the history of architecture. What not was told to that scientist, to that architect. But it was so perfectly done. It was, and that the architect didn't care about what people said. It's just a trusses, no, all beautiful. It is not beautiful also that way, but now it has become a symbol of something which is there's love, there's beauty, and so many things have got added over time. So your son must understand that much. He, yes, I'm not doing it for the good grades. I'm doing it because I have the talent. I'm doing it because of the joy I get in doing it. Say tomorrow, all the teachers, all the professors, not just your university, in the entire world, all of them berate and give a low grade for whatever he does. But if he is experiencing and enjoying that aspect of doing it, no, you can stand against the world also. He doesn't have to feel that he's been unfair or because when you go to the teacher and say you are already one way, the person has not upheld the dharma, no? You are going to surrender to whom now? The one who is not going to is going to again repeat the same thing, no? I wanted you to give me better marks. No, this is what you deserve. This is maximum. What will happen then? You're already surrendering. Instead, do not mind. You'll have to tell him to come out of that, because sometimes overachievers have that problem. They always achieve everything. Once in a while they don't achieve, then they become no, 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 no. No, don't achieve it, so it's fine. Sometimes failure is required. My college seniors would come and say, if you don't get Arrear, you're not doing your engineering degree only. You have to fail. Look at me, I have 10. Another person say, I have 15. As if they've got Olympic gold medal, they used to talk. But somewhere we learned an important principle that there's more to it than just what we see in the grades only. It's an opportunity. You can ask him to look at it, Binaji. He'll have to learn. If he wants to come and meet you, that's fine. But if he's going to leave his career for this, that should not be. He should not give so much importance to somebody's opinion. That he's going to. Today he gives importance to this person's opinion. Tomorrow it will be another person's. That he must understand. Its expression and learn what that person did not like. ठीक है. Acha, this person is looking from this perspective. He's expecting most like what we say rigid institutions. What do they want? They want definitions which conform to what is there in the book.
Yes.
So probably you can ask him to not. That is something which he can take it in his
Yeah,
stride.
we've been trying to tell him, but
Hmm.
he's slowly getting over it.
It's a journey.
I
It's a
think it's a
journey.
matter
It's a
of
journey.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Ji.
Thank you.
Hariom, Hariom,
Yeah.
Are you?
Hariom, I
Hariom.
would like to add one small thing. I remember one experience of my friend. She had given PG NEET exam, which is very medical exam, which is very difficult exam. Her all India rank was 40, and she had taken gynecology. She was my roommate, and in the first year, when she was very excited because she loved that subject. It was a dream to take that subject, and in the first year of the medical college PG, already she's MBBS, she's done her internship, she's done a ruralship, and now she is PG. So stipend is also there. Her entire teachers in her department was so mean. They used to like tell her ki you don't know anything, you are not good for anything, you cannot deliver babies, why have you come to this field, you just leave this job. And she was a gold medalist in 7 subjects in the MBBS. So she was really excellent in everything. And then her stipend was taken. Every month she had to give the stipend, not money, but food. So entire stipend used to go in that, treating teachers and everything. And so much but she said, throw thorns at me, throw more thorns at me. But I am very determined. I'm going to be the best gynecologist in whatever I do. I'm very determined. I will deliver. She was so calm. She used to come. She used to listen music, everything. I used to like others used to complain that like what she is facing, but she never told from her mouth that I'm like facing so much things, so much. Once I confronted and I asked her, how can you be so so neutral to all this? So she said, see, my focus is that I want to learn gynecology, and this is a very good institute in learning. That is my focus. So all other things, whatever are there, I know those are really bothersome, but I don't take it so much to my heart. That's what she told me. Now but that motivated me also a lot. So I just think maybe that can help. Thank you. Hariom.
Thank you, Dr. Vinisha ji. Wonderful example. I think Binaji has got lots of examples to share to her son. Yes, ji.
Yes.
All right.